Hey ladies, it's Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. This is our 6th bundle to go card for our very special reason stamp set with stylish stems. So this is our last bundle for this set bundle. And then as you can see, I have paired it with Dragonfly Dreams, which was our January bundle, and I'm borrowing some words and the bee to accentuate this set. And I checked, all of you who are doing the special reason bundle have the Dragonfly bundle, so that won't be a problem for you. You'll have what you need. I'm using crushed curry for my yellow, and I'm using basic black and old olive. And of course you're getting all the instructions, so you don't have to worry about sizes and measurements. You can always duplicate the card. And I'm having this fun vellum on top of the honey dynamic hexagon. It looks like a honeycomb texture. And I'm not sure that you all have that folder, so that's going to come pre-embossed. And I'm also going to pre-cut your circle that becomes this highlight point in the back, because not all of you have the circle framelits as well. But I'm going to show you from start to finish, and then you'll get some pieces that are preset for you and other pieces that you need to go ahead and put together on your own. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I think if I put this right there, you can probably see it the whole time. Okay, so let's do some stamping first, because then we've got to get the big shot out. So first I'm going to stamp my flower from Special Reason. And I'm using crushed curry. Okay, so there's that. Then I've got to stamp a leaf in old olive. And I need the bee. And I'm using archival black. Okay, and then all those are going to get die cut. While I'm stamping, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the words. And again, I borrowed these from the Dragonfly Dream set, the You Sure Know How to Make Someone Happy. I like those words. So okay, so that's done. So now we're going to take our dies to the big shot and do our cutting and embossing, and then we'll come back and put the card together. So let me separate my things here. My workspace has gotten a tad bit smaller, so I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, so let me get the big shot over here. So again, I'm going to emboss with my hexagon folder the crushed curry and the vellum, and you can do them at the same time. Just place them over the top, slide them into your folder if you have one, put them down. I'm just going to make sure that's inside. And again, I'm going to do this part for you before you get your kit, because not all of you have this dynamic folder. This is how I do it. And then this is a thick folder, so I'm only using one sheet on top. I'm not sandwiching it between. And I'm going to run that through. And there we go. There's our piece all embossed with its topper. Okay, so that piece is done. Now I'm going to close this up so we can do our cutting. I'm going to get my precision plate. Got this one that I did all the stamping on, so I'm using the outside framelit for the big flower. If I stamp them far enough apart, I'll be able to get them all in one go. Let's see. Alright, so there's my flower. Okay, then I've got my leaf. When I put my leaf down, I just try to line up that center stem line with the tips of the die. The bee, I try to get lined up. If I've got some of that fuzz on the bee image, on those edges in those little spots, I feel like the bee is lined up well. let's see. Okay, I'll live with that. And then you've got a piece of old olive, and you're going to cut one of these leaves out of it. That's going to have the spaces in it. Okay, so put my cutting plate down on top, run all that through. Okay, so now I've got my leaf. Poke those pieces out as I'm removing that from the die. A couple more up here. Just give it a little push to get it to release. Okay, so there's my leaf. Here's my solid leaf. Got my flower. And our bee usually needs a little help. Let me poke him out and see what it looks like. See if I can get him to free from the framelit. There we go. Now I just finish poking out his detail. That's the fun part of this bee, right? The detail that comes out of his wings and body. Makes him look light and airy, so he's fun to use with these flower sets. Alright, so I'm happy with my bee. And you can always sponge some color on your bee, or we've got the two-step stamp in the set. You could always stamp some color on the bee. Okay, so now the only other thing I've left piece is my circle that I use as the spotlight. And again, I'm going to pre-cut this piece before you get your kit, because not all of you have these circle framelits, but I'm finding I'm using them a lot, and the stitched shaped framelits as well, to create these focal points on cards. So it's definitely worth the addition to your stamp collection, I think. Okay, so now let me move this out and put this card together. Okay, where did I put? Here it is. Alright, so here's my card base. Now I'm using the thinner Whisper White as my card base because we're going to line it with the thick piece of cardstock, so it's going to make it heavy enough. I think if you use the heavy cardstock and then face it, it's too heavy for the mail. So this is one way to lighten that up. So I'm just going to put my snail on the back and then line that up with my card. And then, now vellum, remember, you can see adhesive through vellum. So that's where it was when I lined it up. So I'm just going to put some snail on this lower portion where it's going to go down. Because, oh, I don't like that. Line it up straight. Because we're going to have all this focal point on the card, you're not going to see that adhesive underneath. So there's that. Okay, so next I put my words on. And that just comes down here at the bottom. Okay, and if you don't want to smudge that ink, flip it over to press it down. Okay, and then we're going to start building our focal point. So I'm going to go ahead and put snail on my circle. And I tuck that just behind a little bit, but not completely. Alright, then I used dimensionals to pop my flower up. And the reason I'm popping my flower up is that when I put these leaves on, I want to use glue dots, and I want to be able to tuck the edge of the flower underneath. So here's my leaf, here's my glue dot. So I stick both of those on glue dots. Pull them off gently. Okay, and then I'm just going to tuck the leaf under the flower like that. And this one, the glue is a little exposed, but because I'm tucking it, I'm not going to have a problem. Okay, And then I put a little glue dot on the body of the bee as well. Pull him off gently. And you can place him wherever you want to place him. This one I put right on the card. This one I think I'm going to put like up here, like he's coming to get the flower. So, okay, then on your envelope, the first time just did the bee. I think this time I'm actually going to stamp a flower and the bee. So let's see. Let me see if I get a little flower peeking out here on the corner. And then get my bee. That's bright and cheery, I think. So there's that. Now, of course, I left the inside of this card blank, but like on many other cards, if you want to add more sentiment on the inside, or even if you wanted to put a flower and a bee down here, that would be really cute. So there is our last card. I did case this card from Pinterest. It was one of the first cards I saw when the set came out for stylish stems, and it really just had that wow appeal to me. So I really wanted to case it, and I knew a lot of you would enjoy the bright yellow and the bees, and it goes with your other set. So a good way to marry up your items that you have in your collections. So thank you, ladies. I've had fun creating these bundles for you, and I'm looking forward to doing more with you and for you. But until I see you or stamp with you again, happy stamping!